Regarding the initial tenets of Prince Hall Freemasonry pertaining to one being born free, Masonry wasn't a group in which the rank and file of black Southern Baptist preachers were commonly involved, unless it was brick masonry, as was the case with Elijah Poole. The father of Elijah Poole, aka Elijah Muhammad, was a Southern Baptist preacher, only one generation removed from the years prior to emancipation. He worked as a sharecropper, as was common. Another commonality among Southerners at the time was the Great Migration, in which Southern blacks migrated to urban and industrialized centers in the Northeast, West, and Midwest. In the Northeast, cities like New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. saw a significant boom. In the West, Los Angeles and the Bay Area. In the Midwest, Cleveland, Chicago, and Detroit all saw dramatic increases to their black population migrating from the South. Having experienced enough of the racial tension and violence in Georgia, a young Elijah, along with his wife, parents, and family, moved to a suburb of Detroit, Michigan. Where he would later come into contact with Wallace Fard Dodd. Fard took Elijah under his wing and taught him all about his new peculiar brand of Islam for around 3 years. According to Elijah Muhammad, Allah had come to flesh as W.D. Fard. What happened to Wallace Fard? Theories abound. Many say he simply went back to prison and assumed another identity, as both he was quite familiar with. Nonetheless, Elijah was well poised to succeed Fard. He had been given a name, Elijah Kareem, then Muhammad, and also whatever following remained after Fard's disappearance. As was the case with Noble Drew Ali's Moorish Science Temple, Elijah Muhammad's position as messenger of the newly refurbished Nation of Islam faced opposition from within and without. Jedgar's Bureau of Investigation made several attempts to infiltrate both organizations with paid informants and dissenters. Contention between fellow Muslims and threats of violence within the community sparked over who would take over the reins, eventually leading Elijah to uproot from Detroit and restation in Chicago. However, threats against his life would continue to persist. Elijah was still able to travel to establish other temples in Milwaukee and D.C. over the next few years after Fard's vanishment. Over this period, a heavy pro-communist environment nearly impregnated more than just teenagers within the nation. During World War II, Elijah Muhammad's anti-war sentiment led to sedition charges for instructing his followers not to support the war or register for the draft. The media used these charges to paint the nation as commie sympathizers. Many people have posed the question, asking, was Elijah Muhammad a Freemason? In 1994, he published a book entitled The Secrets of Freemasonry, and he was rumored to be a member of the ancient Egyptian order of the Mystic Shrine.
So now, the hate that hate produced. While city officials, state agencies, white liberals, and sober-minded Negroes stand idly by, A group of Negro dissenters is taking to street corner step ladders, church pulpits, sports arenas, and ballroom platforms across the United States to preach a gospel of hate that would set off a federal investigation if it were preached by Southern whites. What are they saying? Listen.
I charge the white man with being the greatest liar on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest drunkard on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest swine eater on earth, yet the Bible forbids it. I charge the white man with being the greatest gambler on earth. I charge the white man, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, with being the greatest murderer on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest peace breaker on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest adulterer on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest robber on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest deceiver on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest troublemaker on earth. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I ask you, bring back a verdict of guilty as charged.
The indictment you have just heard is being delivered over and over again in most of the major cities across the country. This charge comes at the climax of a morality play called The Trial. The plot, indeed the message of the play, is that the white man has been put on trial for his sins against the black man. He has been found guilty. The sentence is death. The play is sponsored, produced by a Negro religious group who call themselves the Muslims. They use a good deal of the paraphernalia of the traditional religion of Islam, but they are fervently disavowed by Orthodox Muslims. These homegrown Negro American Muslims are the most powerful of the black supremacist groups. They now claim a membership of at least 250,000 Negroes. Their doctrine is being taught in 50 cities across the nation. Let no one underestimate the Muslims.
By 1962, Malcolm and Elijah had begun to fall out for a myriad of reasons. Most people believed the initial contention between the two men was over a difference in philosophy. According to Branch and Marable, Malcolm had been rebuffed by Muhammad at least twice regarding the unjustified mosque invasion and murder of Muslims by dirty LAPD cops. Malcolm was implicitly ordered to stand down. Louis Farrakhan relayed that this was a critical moment in the brotherly affection the two men had for one another. For the remainder of 1964 and 65, Malcolm received numerous death threats. And on at least one occasion, the Nation of Islam ordered an assassination attempt, which Malcolm avoided.
He was less man than I thought. Oh. He dogged the messenger. The man that took him from a pimp, from a hustler, from a stick-up man, and sent him before the world. Now he's dogging his teacher. What do you think we felt? Elijah Muhammad wasn't just a leader. That's our spiritual guide and father, brother. You don't have to order me to kill you. If you attack my father, my orders come from my love. I want you to hear me good, because every Muslim that loved Elijah Muhammad would have killed Malcolm if we had gotten a chance. No, I don't need no damn applause. I want you to think now. We didn't incite that. Malcolm incited that in us.